Here we go, as we go to 5 red lights for the Belgian Grand Prix. Haas on pole, Ferrari beside them, lights out, and away we go as we head down into La Source, who is going to be the leading driver out of this. And it is just going to be Epic OJ. Neb tried to go around the outside of the McLaren, but Avi will stay in P3. A lot of drivers going very slow at the back there, and I think that's Fisnik who has been tapped there. Whiffle also going off the track, but the Aston Martin stays in P16. As we see the RB going down the inside of 1 and 2 into Eau-Rouge and Radeon. And I think going side by side was Quartz and Morleader. Quartz will stay in P12, but here comes Morleader down the outside into the Kemmel Straits as Pesci gets past on Jojo. Neb also getting past on Avi as well, but Epic OJ crucially holds the lead as we go through Le Com. I think Snoo might be trying to make a move on Avi though, but isn't able to make it going into Brussels there. If we look further down the grid, are there any moves being made? As Casper has spun in the background there into P17 and will be in P18 after that. What happened to Casper? But he is there, spinning all the way down to the back, and that is exactly not what he needs. And Epic OJ has pulled out 1.2 second gap to Neb in P2.
Well, he might have just spun and hit contact. That'd be my best get with that corner.
As Brian Evans is trying to go around the outside of Avi, going into the bus stop chicane. Can Avi maybe look for a dive on the Aston Martin? And they do think about it, but then elects back out, and that allows Brian Evans to go down the inside into the left-hander. And that's going to be a drag race into turn 1, but I think Brian Evans will just about hold it. And I think Skiz in the background there was getting quite racy, trying to get past on Quartz, but isn't able to. That is, of course, that's Pesci or Pesci, but then going into the source, tries it again, but makes a bit of contact, and will have to stay behind. Maffio and Raven, though, going side by side out of turn 1, but Maffio will get in front of that Ferrari as Whiffle tries to defend off Morleader as Morleader. Actually, I think Whiffle getting past Morleader there.
Ooh.
Is that a spin? That is for Maffio.
Maffio, yeah. Don't know if he got tapped on the back potentially.
Drops down to P17 there, but Morleader and White Josh now going side by side into La Source, and I think Morleader is ahead at the apex, and I think he will then just slot in front up to P15. Will Epic OJ get the repass on Snoo though, going into Le Com, and he's already side by side. Neb trying to go around the outside as well, 3 wide into Le Com. Still side by side between Neb and Epic OJ, just about enough space left, but Epic OJ stays in front, and now CGM is going to look to try and get in on this. Neb still trying to hold it around the outside, gets tapped by the Sauber, but luckily enough Neb doesn't spin out. Jamie gets passed on Pesci though. Always they've tapped both each other there. And I think that might have been... I don't know whose fault that was, actually. I saw that quite late. Brian Evans now trying to go down the inside of the Sauber into turn 10. And that was a very ambitious dive bomb, but he will try to keep it. Round the outside into No Name, 2 wide. And that didn't work out that yesterday for one of the Mercedes. But I'll tell you what, in Division 2, they make it work. And Brian Evans will have to concede the position to Snoo. Good defending from the Sauber. Can Epic OJ maybe try and make a move on CGM going into the bus stop? No, he can't. All gets very close on the switchback though, but isn't able to complete it. Is there rain?
Oh, as Whiffle is into the pits there, it is raining as well. So unless he's going to the Inters now,
it's not Inters yet.
Pit stop, not a chance.
But it is raining.
Into Whiffle and Matthew into the pits.
It's definitely raining.
And they are going on to the Inters.
Maffio as well. Will Casper go on to the Inters as well? I mean, technically he doesn't have anything to lose.
No. And
changing his front wing.
I can understand Casper because he had the wing damage, but Maffio...
Well, CGM and Epic OJ going side by side. Sorry to interrupt, but Epic OJ just holds it down the inside. Brian Evans gets up into P1 as DRS is disabled, and it is going to be the crossover point, so maybe Maffio... Oh, is that CGM and Snoo off there? CGM dropping down to P5, so he is really feeling the effects as Skiz gets through as well. And I think it definitely is Inters. Maffio and Whiffle and Casper have probably pulled this absolutely correctly, although Casper is 12 seconds behind. But Maffio and Whiffle could well be within a chance to get into the top 10 here. The CGM gets a 3-second penalty.
I tell you what, if the Red Bulls might have to double stack this lap if they're both coming in.
We'll have to wait and see, but yeah, they are. Then the track is quite wet from what I saw. And everyone is coming in. No one is staying out. Oh, is that Fisnik there? Oh, Fisnik is retired in the pit lane. He hit the inside wall as he was trying to overtake. I think he was trying to overtake Quartz. But then he just crashes into the pit lane, and that is him out of the race.
What am I seeing? It's absolutely crazy.
Well, as everyone is in the pit lane, let's see where Mafio jumps up to, as I think Brian Evans is already leaving the pit lane. Neb down to P8, so that double stack must have hurt them quite a bit. Epic OJ also out of the pit lane, and the race is definitely wet, but it is a safety car, which meant Mafio couldn't probably go as quick as he could, as the leaders are caught up to the safety car. He was under the delta and couldn't go quicker. I think that clearly shows that it's not his AI, but here we go. Brian Evans is coming around the final corner, and we will start on the restart. Did Epic OJ get the jump? And I don't think it did. I think Snoo actually is going to try and make a move on Epic OJ, going into turn 1 into La Source, and in the wets, around the outside into turn 1. That was very ambitious, but I'll tell you what, fair play to Snoo for getting into P2 there.
Raven down the inside of Abby.
Oh, Abby's DNF'd.
Oh, Abby.
I think that's his game though.
I think it was, because he was exiting finally. It just completely snapped to those on board him.
Unless you have made some setup changes. Mafio trying to go down the inside of Quartz, and in the dry that is still quite tricky to make, but Quartz managing to stay in front, preparing for the bus stop chicane. Always Epic OJ and Snoo there going side by side into the bus stop chicane. Snoo down the inside, as Epic OJ will then have the inside for turn 20. Still side by side, exiting out of turn 20, but I think Snoo just about stays in front going into turn 1. A little bit of a lock up there from the Sauber. Always Pesci gets very close to collecting skids there. I think Mafio is spun at the back there, and into turn 1 he was facing the wrong way, but eventually gets facing the right way. So we're going wide there out of turn. I think it was actually Quartz.
It's Quartz.
Quartz losing a place to More Leader and Raven.
Again.
Raven and More Leader, they're going side by side. Raven just gets in front going into Blanchemont.
That's a great move.
I think Whiffle and White Quartz still here though. Try and make side-by-side action. CGM having a battle with Neb, but Whiffle will have to stay behind. Neb then getting past the Aston Martin, going out of the bus stop chicane and gets into P7. Neb getting a move on Jojo there into the bus stop chicane. Jojo forced to the outside. He will then have the inside for turn 1. And I'll tell you what, Jojo will just about hold that side-by-side with the Red Bull. But very close through turn 1. Always Jamie and Mafio there going side by side into Lecom. Jamie on the inside. Mafio will then have the inside for turn 9. Bit of contact on the exit, but Mafio stays in front. There is Quartz goes all the way off track there, and is now down to the back as Raven gets past on Jojo there. And Raven also trying to go down the inside of CGM as well, but not able to. Neb and Skiz going side by side into the bus stop chicane. So I think Skiz just remains in front, but Neb still trying to hold it. But Skiz moves to the inside and covers that off. Neb trying to fight it around the outside of the McLaren, but a bit of contact there, and Neb is forced to stay behind. Raven gets past on CGM there, and Epic OJ and Skiz going side by side. There, around the outside goes Skiz, and I'll tell you what, that was a brilliant move in the wets into Blanchemont.
See Mafio going down the inside of Casper at bus stop. Casper at the better exit.
Snoo tries to go around the outside of Brian Evans into turn 1. Can he get the move stick? Slight snap, but I'll tell you what, Snoo got a much better exit, and Brian Evans will have to stay behind. But Snoo doesn't have the best in terms of battery. So will Brian Evans be looking to try and chase it back? Will Pesci actually be able to get around the outside? Oh, and Brian Evans covers him off. 3 wide into Lecom. Brian Evans eventually gets back into the lead, but look at Pesci down the inside, going into Lecom. Laces on the brakes of Brian Evans, but not able to get the move, and Pesci will take the race lead. Brian Evans in P2, Snoo down to P3. Skiz is catching in as well, 2 tenths behind. As Brian Evans still tries to hold it down the inside of Pesci going into Brussels. We'll have the tyre advantage just ahead going into turn 10, but into turn 11. Pesci has the inside wheel, but into P1 now. Snoo gets past on Pesci as well. Pesci now down to P3. And it's going to be Brian Evans, Snoo and Pesci. Basically how it started. as we started the lap, but Pesci still trying to fight this down the outside, going into Campus. And I look at Skiz, he's going to try to go down the inside of the V-Cub. Round the outside, he will then try and have it into the next few corners, into Stavelot now, though, and Skiz will stay behind. Raven now trying to go down the inside of Epic OJ. You can just see that front tyre there. But around the outside of Blanchimont, Raven gets really close to going off a racing track surface there, but manages to stay on. Epic OJ still trying to hold it down the outside. Raven has the outside for turn 20. As I think Skiz and Neb were going a little bit side by side, but Raven with the overtake enabled. He's down to 5% in the wet though. Still side by side going into La Source. But on the exit, I think Raven got a much better exit. Always, I think CGM nearly going into the wall there in the back. But Raven stays in front of Epic OJ. Jojo getting the pass on the Aston Martin. Casper also going side by side with Whiffle into going into Lecom, not Campus. As Casper has to see the position to that Williams, but the Williams getting bottomed out by that curb of turn 9. Down the inside, Casper tries it into Brussels and easily gets past into turn 10. Skid now getting a 3 seconds, and so does Pesci as well. P3 and P4 getting 3 seconds. How detrimental could that be, as that will promote Raven up to P4 now on Pens. Raven now trying to go around the outside of Neb.
That's a great move.
Yeah, I think he actually got it out of Radion as well. Going side by side, Isnu and Pesci. Always I think Pesci going off the track there a little bit, but gets past on Snu. Maybe he thinks he can get a pen removal, as most people with a pen won't really fight that back. Always Skiz and Snoo there going side by side. Bit of contact. Quartz now gets to 3 seconds. He is in last place though, so it's not as much as I thought it was going to be.
Is
trying to get past Snoo there. Raven backs out, I think. As I think CGM and Epic OJ there go side by side in the background there, but also side by side especially and Brian. Great move there from the V-Cub. Raven also gets up to P4 as well. 1.3 seconds behind Skiz, but I'm sure he can catch that up. As also going side by side is CGM and Epic OJ in the background into turn 10. Aston Martin just stays in front. Jojo though looking really close, but not able to get a wheel there. Mafio gets past on Jojo, but Jojo still trying to fight this down the inside, going into Lecom. Still side by side. The Mercedes on the outside. Can he get past on that Alpine? Down the inside into turn 10, into turn 9. Not able to though, but Mafio has bottomed out on the curb, and Jojo back down the inside into turn 10. Mafio still marginally in front, but round the corner as the Mercedes does about just gets into P9. That made absolutely no sense whatsoever.
Skiz is all over the rear of Brian Evans, looking for the inside line.
Ooh, I thought they were going to crash out there.
And I tell you what, Skiz has made that move on the outside.
Absolutely.
That's a great move.
Epic OJ and Mafio there going side by side into Lecom. Still side by side as we go through turn 8 into turn 9. Who is going to be the better out of this one? Still side by side. Just about leaving each other enough space, but I think Mafio gets in front. Great move from Mafio to, well, actually great defending, I think, actually, to stay in P8. Ryan Evans, I think, has got it. I don't think Raven can do anything. He is burning a little bit, but I think it's just a bit too late. Too little.
Ooh, Raven might... I think, if my maths is right, I think Raven might be P3 here.
No, I think it will... Oh, yeah, he might be, but Pesci will win on track. But then Brian Evans will win it. And yeah, as you say, Raven, it's P3 there. So still a podium finish. I'm sure he will still be happy with that, considering where he started. Skiz will then finish in P4. Neb will then finish in P5. With Snoo in P6, I think that was. Epic OJ will finish in P7 with the fastest lap of the race, starting from pole. He drops a few positions though. CGM finishes in P8 with Jamie in P9. More Leader will then finish in P10 with Casper. Unfortunate race for him with that opening lap spin. Finishes in P11. Then Mafia finishes in P12 with Jojo in P13. Unfortunate race for him as well with that penalty, but does indeed make up a position at least. Whiffle will then finish in P14 with White Josh P16. Quartz will then finish in P16. Unfortunate race for Avi, DNFing, and also Fiznik also DNFing from the session as well.